Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alive and Streaming. Ted here. Took a couple of weeks off, and I'm back. And everyone out there watching, thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. This one's going to be a really a special one. We're going to be talking to some people who made our last show, the Bastard Tracks, come together. And before I bring these people in, there's a couple of shout outs I want to, give to people who made the show happen, who helped make the show happen along with these four guests that I'm bringing in. We want to thank our crew, Anders Aho on guitar, our guitar tech, Aaron Barrett, drum tech, also known as Aaron Balaki, Dave Bruno at the Great American Music Hall, Pike Barber, who did the monitors, Chuck, who helped out with the lights, also my wife, Trisha, who helped produce the whole thing to make it come together, which was awesome. And now I am bringing to you four people: our sound man, Thilo Fehlinger, our lighting director, Austin Zangi, and two people from Maximum Flavor who filmed the Bastard Track show, which is Mark and Triv. So let's bring them in here if we can. There's Mark, there's Thilo, there's Triv, and we are waiting for Austin. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to my show, Alive and Streaming. I just introduced you beautiful people, to the world out there. Okay, I'm going to say Mark, raise your hand. Mark, director, and with Maximum Flavor. Triv, where you at? Triv, he was the editor of the show. Awesome editor. Thilo Fehlinger, our man who's been with us 15 years on the road. And Austin Zangi, our lighting guy, who's been with us a couple of years. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for your time and thank you for coming in. I want to say, did you watch our stream?
I did.
Watched it live.
Yeah, what'd you guys think?
It was awesome. It was great to see it. I mean, obviously we had, Triv and I had seen it a bunch, going through the editing process and the shooting process, but it was really cool to see it with everyone and watch like the live chat and kind of see it as it played out. It was hands off at that point. So it was really cool to see it all come together. And I thought it went great.
I thought it went great too. How about you, Triv?
I enjoyed watching the live chat thoroughly.
Those fans are crazy, huh? They're awesome.
My favorite was everybody anticipating what songs were coming up, and I was like, I already know.
And Thilo, I mean, now I'm going to get to Thilo here. Thilo, you've been with us like 15 plus years, and some of the songs we did play live, and some of these songs we never did. So that must have been a treat for you.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool hearing different material from different eras. It was awesome watching you do your leads. I don't get to see that too much live, really. So yeah. It was great. It was great that it was a different set. Yeah, for sure.
It was like a breath of fresh air, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I'm going to get to Austin here. Austin's been with us for about a couple of years. I mean, we took him on his first US tour and European tour, and he was so used to doing songs from the Humanicide touring cycle and some other songs that we normally play in the set. But it must have freaked you out a little bit because these are songs you never heard us play live and you never actually worked on these songs, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, once, at the beginning, starting the tour with you guys, it was, like a week or two before I started to kind of like figure out the cues and stuff. So then after touring, with multiple tours on these same songs, you throw me off guard, learn it all over again. But then now I have no muscle memory, so it's all new to me. So,
but what do you think of the songs now that it's all said and done?
I like it. I mean, I like that we're not listening. I wasn't like clawing so deep for 122 shows in a row. So It was good. It was different, fresh air. Yeah. And I love that you guys did acoustic and played volcanic.
Yeah. Okay. Mark and Triv, what do you think of the songs? Because I want to it's kind of going to segue into this whole thing. I mean, what was your take on it?
So this was, I mean, I was familiar with you guys as a band before, but I mean, full disclosure, I'm not a metal person. So this was a new, a new avenue for me. And so these, Bastard tracks are basically the only songs I've heard. Yeah, I've listened to a lot more now because you definitely have a fan. But I feel like I'm a deep cuts fan, and so when I when I talk to people now, I'll be like, oh, you listen to that? No, you gotta listen to these deep cuts, and I loved it. I loved it. Like I've actually been playing because I had a when you told us a set list so that we knew kind of how to prepare, I had a playlist that I put together, and I've been listening to it still, and but it was really cool to hear the songs live. I mean, it's just a whole new energy, and especially knowing that some of these songs are so old too, it was kind of cool to see them brought back with like a modern spin, but still the same.
I mean, now I'll tell a little story to the whole world here. I mean, these Bastard Track songs, the idea of the stream came about in January. I mean, we did our Christmas show and people loved it. I thought it went well. And when January hit, I was talking to our booking agents and trying to figure out what the landscape of the land looked like for touring, and they were like, you know what, nothing. This was in January, and they go, we don't foresee anything happening for the year 2021. So we decided, let's do another stream and let's just do Bastard Track songs that that never get to play live on the set. And I was talking to Thilo, and he suggested, let's do it at the Great American Music Hall. And we thought that was a great idea because it looks really beautiful in there. So we talked to them, and me and Thilo had quite a few Zoom calls with a couple of other videographers, and Dave Bruno, thank you, Dave, from Great American, referred you guys. And after all the meetings we had, we figured you guys were the ones, man. You guys did a great job, and I want to give you guys a shout out. Thilo, you did a great job of capturing our sound. Austin, you did a good job with the lights, and Maximum Flavor did a good job at just capturing that moment in time. So guys, thank you very much. I know all the fans out there dug it, and we dug it, so yay.
Yeah, we're stoked on it. And I mean, and I love Great American. I got married to Great American about 6 years ago.
Wow.
And so anytime, I mean, during the pandemic, I've been doing a lot of stuff with them, live streams and whatnot, just because I'm so used to going to shows. And so like, if nothing else, hell, I'll come do a live stream just so I can watch a live show, so.
Yeah. I mean, now you guys, Maximum Flavor, you guys, video company, but you guys do a lot of non-musical stuff, like corporate stuff, right? So
we do a lot of commercials, branding stuff. It's there's a balance to make money,
yeah,
as we all do, but music is definitely a passion. We love doing music stuff. In another life, I wish I could play instruments, but I'm not talented in that regard. So hey, if it comes to putting visuals to songs, then I'm happy with that. So that's really where the passion is, I think.
Gotcha. Now, how when we got off that meeting, our first meeting with you guys, when we got off the Zoom call, what did you think? What was going on in your mind when we said, all right, we're going to go with you guys. Let's do this. We got off the call. I'm sure you got a hold of your team and go, all right, dude. So I want to know what happened behind your scene.
I did. So it's funny because I called, our immediate team, and then I called a lot of people that we work with, and I go, who I knew were into metal, and I go, what do you know about Death Angel? Like, did I just get into something that I'm, gonna regret? And they were like, no, Death Angel, that's awesome. Like, and everyone I mentioned was like so stoked that it was that it was with you guys. So we were excited for it. And I was really excited to do, because we've done a lot of music videos, where it's like a pre-recorded track that you're lip syncing to and doing stuff like that. But I like really wanted to do some live concert style stuff. So I was stoked. And then once I started listening to the stuff, I got even more stoked. So we were jazzed from the start. And especially since it was at Great American. Love Dave. Dave's amazing. And so we were all in.
Triv?
What am I answering? What's the question?
you were a part of the team. I'm sure Mark Heim came to you after we had a call and goes, dude, we're gonna do this. Doing it with this band. So I mean, I'd like to know what was going on in your head. Like,
his first question was, do you know Death Angel? And I do, because, well, I knew of you. I never really listened to your music. My apologies. When I was younger, I
Yeah.
grew growing up in the in the late '80s, early '90s. I worked in a record store for like 10 years, and I was a metal guy, a classic rock guy growing up. So, like, I never really got out to the Bay music except for like Metallica because they were so big. But
Of course.
like I knew of you guys, and you guys sold well in our stores, and I grew up in Cleveland, I should say. So, and I was like, I never listened to them, but I know that they've been around forever, and I would love, let's see what they got to work with. And then, like Mark, I had my track list, Spotify, listened to you guys like every day until we started shooting, and I figured out that I missed the boat. Like I should have stuck with, I should have listened to you guys early on. And I was after that. And then when Mark was saying that, we talked to all our crew, the people that we work with, and like most people were like, you want to help us shoot this? And they were all like, yes. How do I be a part of it? How do I watch it? So everybody I talked to, all the people I grew up with, were like, working with Death Angel, that's awesome. So I was stoked to do it. And now like Mark said, I have a new band that I listen to all the time.
And you guys like the bastard tracks. Wait till you hear the other track. The hits, as we call them. Thilo,
Yes.
you've been with us. I mean, the sound is amazing, dude. The sound is amazing, dude. You killed it on this one. I'm sure along with, Rob helped you mix it because you guys are mad scientists when it comes to audio. And I love you guys for it. But you've been with us 15 plus years. And, everyone who's seen us live always says we have a good sound. And we always have to thank you for that. And I'd like to know your thought process on how you capture our sound, because it's not only capturing the right sound, but you also have to know us, each of us individually, on how we play and what we do and blah blah blah, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Come on, Thilo, you could spill it out. Come on, you could be truthful on the stream. It's okay. You won't hurt our feelings.
No, it's I mean, it's a different story doing sound for a stream than it is to do for a live show in front of an audience. Obviously, I have much more options, doing it for a stream, mixing it afterwards. Live, it's like you go and that's it. You mess up, everybody's gonna hear it, and everybody's gonna know. The thing is, though, like it's also done with. It's not like people will go back and watch that show 10 times, like I'm sure a lot of fans are doing with this stream. So yeah, it's two different kind of things, similar but still different. As for how I approach doing it, it was actually fairly similar. I know what I like, say for microphones or whatever. I've been using the same kind of microphones for drums and guitars and whatnot that I've always used for you guys. So that was fairly similar. And yes, I do know, I know how Will plays his drums. I know how Mark performs his vocals. I know how you guys play your guitars and bass. Yeah. So did that answer your question right there?
Yeah. I do want to share a photo here because I like I told everyone, I'm repeating myself. Thilo's been with us a long time, and sometimes we do get on his nerves every now and then, like at sound checks and stuff. Like we could Thilo's trying to do sound, trying to twiddle the knobs, and I'm up there making noises, and it gets in his way. And sometimes Thilo feels like this.
Uh-oh.
See that? That's sometimes we drive Thilo crazy to the point where he's like, I am just sick of these guys. I hope I quit. But we love you and you love us, so that's awesome. Now, Austin, how do you approach the lights with this? Let's talk about your lighting here, because the lighting was, it really complemented what Maximum Flavor. It seemed like you guys really worked together. They captured good shots of us, good action shots, and the lights have a big part in this as well.
Yeah, I mean, for the lights, I mean, I listened to the songs prior to the show, and then kind of get an idea of if it's like a darker song or, you know, or whatever. But then I work with you and Rob to figure out what you guys are thinking, you know, looks and cues, and then working with Mark and his team to make sure, you know, the colors are good, looks good in camera, you know, because this is going to be streamed worldwide, you know, to millions of people that are going to want to tune in and watch it, you know, versus a concert that has, you know, thousands of people. But I don't know. And then to go with the lights is you. I mean, if you read the comments, you had more solos, and that felt cool to do that, you know, which is not normal so far on tour. But hopefully, if you incorporate some of these songs in, we can have some more Ted solos, you know. But that's really it. I mean, just whatever, and I just rock and roll, flash and trash. Just know some cues.
But you guys, all four of you guys, you two, especially Thilo and Austin and Mark Hyman and their team, you guys really work well together, because it seemed like that it went really smooth. You guys kind of talk the same language, and you know, you kind of know what the goal was. Okay, we're gonna capture this. You know what I mean?
It did. It did. There was a couple of moments I thought Thilo was going to murder me, but I think we worked through those those couple issues, figuring out
We're all
our
human.
cadence and stuff. Yeah, you know, it was different for everyone. But yeah, I mean, it all came together. You know, I think once we got kind of in a groove and did a little like sound checking and figured out what we were doing, then it was fun. You know, at that point the work was done. It was just fun. It was just watch you guys perform and capture it, you know.
What'd you say, Triv?
I said his work was done.
That's true. Yes, there. Yeah, well, that was just the production. Yeah, the post side of it is a whole different thing, you know. But yeah, which I'm sure, you know, I know for everyone's, you know, end there was a lot of post stuff. But yeah, no, the team was great, you know, and you never know when you're kind of being thrown in with people you've never met. You know, and you're kind of, right, we're in this for a couple of days, let's see what happens. And yeah, I think it all went well.
I think so too. Now, with I had something in mind, but you know, I don't know, I'm just excited. Sorry. I thought the stream was well. You guys, you know, Thilo and Austin, our crew did a good job. You guys did a good job. I'm still kind of in awe about it, you know what I mean? Because I think we were able to get a show that we wanted and something different, you know, with the stories too. I want to get to that, you know, the idea of telling stories about these bastard tracks. I thought it was a good idea. I mean, when you guys, Thilo and Austin, when you finally saw the final, because me, Mark, and Triv were working on the edits, and we saw it so many times before we put it up. What did you guys think of how it was, like the stories and how it's broken up and the whole vibe of it?
I thought it was really entertaining. I had a great time. I had a couple friends over. We had some beers and we watched it and had it up loud on the stereo, and yeah, it was super entertaining. A lot of the stories of the backstories about the songs, a lot of those were new to me as well. And yeah, it was great watching it. I thought it was a great concept. It was very entertaining for your fans. Thought it was really cool project. Really good, really well put together.
Austin?
Same. Great. No, I enjoyed it. The layout. Yeah. I mean, I like that it wasn't all interviews at the beginning or at the end, you know, like a perfect amount of talking and then just music and then talking again. It was great.
I thought it was really cool that we did that too, because, you know, I'll just say from my standpoint about having to tell the stories about the songs. I mean, I've been jamming, you know, come August 11th, I've been with the band 20 years, you know, and I've toured with Rob and Mark for that long and been in close quarters. All, you know, the record from Art of Dying till now, I've been with them. And I've heard some of these stories, you know, and I was like, you know, when we doing the bastard tracks, and I remember seeing the songs like The Organization, where I've heard that story. Rob told that story before. I go, that'd be cool if we could, you know, get some stories in, because that was like I remember Rob telling that story on the road, and I was like, we should do something like that for these songs. And you know, Mark had some good stories with why you do this and some of his lyrical content. So I thought it was a really good job. Now, the interview process the first day when you guys had to do the interviews, that was like 5 hours of interviews. It seemed like five. It was a long day. Just to let everyone know, we did interviews for 5 hours and we took the best material. You know what I mean? Maybe some of these other, some of the stuff that didn't make it on the video, well, might be a little treat if we decide to put it on Blu-ray. You guys could throw that in there. You know what I mean?
There is a lot of good stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor, but we didn't want the stream to be 4 hours long. So at least 3 hours of interviews and an hour or so of music.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But no, it was great, and I have to say, because I had some people over to watch it as well. It is. I think the highlight, at least in my viewing party, was Mark's laugh. I mean, Mark has an amazing.
I think that's the highlight for a lot of, people did talk about his infectious laugh and all,
Oh, it's great. It was just so enjoyable. And it, it made cutting those fun, because it was just like a chuckle after chuckle. And yeah, I loved the story. I mean, I love digging into music, and wondering what it's all about and, trying to get. And so I liked having all of that kind of backstory to the songs. I thought it was super cool. And especially because a lot of people who were watching it with me weren't familiar with the band, and so they felt like they actually learned quite a bit, and then they were like, oh, this is the song they were talking about where this happened, or this is, so I think it helped a lot. And it kind of obviously there was a lot of hardcore fans watching, but I think it helped people who may or may not have been as aware of everything. So I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too. And I remember we had conversations, Mark, me and you and Trisha, excuse me, about that storytelling. How are we going to do this? Where are we going to position the guys? How many cameras? I mean, there was a lot of work. I mean, people saw an hour and 40 minutes, but there was a lot of work behind it, not only with you guys, but with Thilo and Austin, making sure it come out the way it is. I mean, it's like people, like I said, see an hour and 40 minutes, but there was days of, pre-show discussions and rehearsals and, going back and forth to go, hey, what are we going to do here? So, to me, I'm glad we did it, but I'm glad it's over. I just can't wait to get to the live shows.
I can't wait to go to a live show.
Yeah. And I'm like, I talked to Thilo, he can't wait to start mixing in the live room with all that energy and, just that sweatiness of people having fun. But I think we captured, a good one. I think it felt like people, it's a different stream, but it felt like we played live, but it was just captured. You get what I mean?
Right. Well, and I think that's, I mean, it's we watched a lot of concert videos
of us,
me and you and just of other bands. Me and Jeff Carroll, who was the director of photography, to kind of talk about like the style and stuff. And one of the things, as much of a bummer as it was that there isn't an audience there, it allowed us to do a lot more because we could take up a lot more space. I mean, we didn't have to kind of fit in with an audience, and so we were able to put more cameras and cranes and get really close and stuff like that. So it was interesting watching concert videos because they had to work around a crowd, and we didn't have to do that. So I thought it actually gave us a lot more leeway to do some more interesting things, from a video standpoint.
Yeah. Now, when we were playing, I know Thilo sets up downstairs away from all the noise, which is like insane, but I get it. And when you guys started, all right, let's go, let's do the set, and you guys started filming us, it must have been a shock, but in a good way. Finally, a live band. And I know you guys have been listening to the playlist, and every cameraman's figuring out, all right, man, I got to get this. I know this part here. I got to get this and that, blah, blah, blah. And you were directing, Mark. So you kind of knew like, okay, I know what the song's coming up. It needs this and that. So what was going on through your mind as soon as we start hitting the set?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. And I don't know if you guys know this, but right, because we spent probably, because it was later in the afternoon when we actually started. Yeah. And right when, we did all the clapperboard stuff, roll cameras. All right, and then I said, go ahead. The second, the first note came on, the wide camera, the battery died. And I was like, well, and so you notice it took a minute to get that one going again. So I was like, just keep going. Like we're gonna, and so you guys probably didn't notice it obviously because you were playing, but the guy was running around trying to switch the battery, and so it took a minute to get that going. But it was a trip to actually the first, because I had heard these songs a bunch, and then to actually hear them being performed live, I was like, oh, that's this song. It was weird to like make that connection of like, whoa, I'm hearing these songs live. I was so used to like the studio versions of them. That's all I really had to work with. But then it was, I spent a lot of time talking to especially Jeff and Ender, who were up front, and then the Fuki, who was operating our jib, to kind of what to focus on during certain parts of the songs. And here comes a great part to kind of get down low and get this nice wide looking up shots. But it was it's, even though it was, we did editing and post, capturing all that live was still very much felt like it was live streaming, just because things were happening in real time. I couldn't be like, no, stop, like move this way, like you guys were just playing, and we kind of had to capture it as it was. So there was that kind of adrenaline rush during it for sure, making sure that
I bet. Triv, you were one of the cameramen, right?
My camera was static, it wasn't moving. I just had to turn it on and off.
But you were there.
Camera, I was there. That camera had the audio from Thilo. His mix was going into that camera, so I was monitoring the audio.
Okay.
Yeah, Triv's the only person who actually got to hear the, because in the room we couldn't hear Mark's vocals because they weren't being amplified. And so I remember when I first sat down with Triv to start editing, I was like, whoa, there's Mark's voice. Like it sounded totally, because I hadn't heard it the whole time. So
I had the cans on, so like I heard it the whole time. So like the song sounded like the songs, even though he was lower because of the mix, but like I still heard him singing, and everybody was just like, oh, I wonder what it sounds like with him singing. I'm like, what these
and it sounds good. Now I want to before I get to the editing, I'm going to touch upon sound and lights here. Thilo, man, how long did it take you to mix? Because it seemed like you and Rob were mad scientists. Like you weren't going to let up until it sounded killer, which it's probably the best sounding live Death Angel out there. You guys were just going at it, huh?
Yeah, it's funny because when we did pre-production for this, and we're on a couple of Zoom calls. I remember one where Mark was on as well, and Triv, and I asked, so what's the latest you're gonna need this final audio in order to still make the deadline? And Triv told me, well, like absolute latest, like 24 hours, but it would be nice to have it before that.
Yeah.
And I knew we had a few weeks between the shoot and it airing. And I was like, oh yeah, no problem. We're gonna have this done within a week. You're gonna have those final audio tracks like way in advance. Then Rob started working with me, and man, Rob's perception of audio and understanding of audio and sound and how he wants his band to sound like and to be, portrayed audio-wise is amazing. I thoroughly enjoy working with Rob. I've done it before on the other live album that we did a few years back. It was super enjoyable, super creative working with him, getting this to where it did end up, to where everybody was happy. I was happy too. I learned a lot. But yes, it was hard work. Rob's schedule is not really
a 9 to 5.
A normal schedule,
yeah.
Put it that way, put it mildly.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't even get up till like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. He doesn't really start working and thinking properly till like 5 or 6 in the evening. But then he keeps going till 3 or 4 in the morning. And so I had to adjust my working schedule to his in order to get this done. It was a lot of back and forth texting, back and forth exchanging files, listening, uploading, downloading. It was hard work. It was 10, 12-hour days till 4 in the morning most of the days. But yeah, it was really, really enjoyable. It was really great.
Well, I have to give it to you. I mean, you're really good at live sound, and Rob, of course, he knows the band. I mean, he's co-produced ever since the first record. Rob knows how this band should sound like. So you two together make a great team, hence why it sounded so good. But I could see, like, I've worked with Rob with his hours. He's very nocturnal.
Yeah.
By the time he's going to bed, I'm waking up. So, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it came out killer, and everyone's stoked. I'm stoked. And Austin, the lights. I mean, when we started, I'm sure looking at the lights, you were like, "That's cool," but I'm pretty sure they had, Maximum Flavor had monitors you had to go look at to make sure what I'm seeing
Mhm.
getting captured awesome on tape as to opposed to with my eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how was that? I mean, did you make any adjustments? Because I thought the lights were awesome, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, it was cool to walk in because I didn't really know what I was walking into. But after talking to Chuck, the in-house and all that, and it sucks that Slim's, as we know, is closed and got sold or whatever, but that they didn't sell the lighting gear. So we had all those extra lights just up in a storage room I got to place on stage, around stage, and kind of actually design, I guess, a look for the show that we normally don't get to do. But yeah, I mean, programming it, looking at it from my view, but then like what I see isn't really important to what the camera sees, and what looks good, it was great. I mean, I wouldn't ask for anything to change. I mean, would do it again, work with Mark and all of his team again, over and over.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a great team here. I think it's a wonderful team. Now I'm going to get to the editing. I'm going to talk to Mark and Triv here. Triv, is that the control room you edit in behind you? Is that the massive Starship Enterprise that you edit?
I wish. This is just a background so you can't see my dirty apartment.
Okay. Now let me ask you something. Like when it came down to editing, you guys had multiple cameras, and I kind of, how many cameras?
9 total, but
9.
not all the time. We're all 9.
Okay, now it must have been like, what is the process of dumping all that footage onto a system? How does that work? Okay, now that the show's over, because I know Thilo, he has a board, he has like Pro Tools. He goes, okay, I got all the files, I could mix it. How does it work with video?
Same way, just every camera. So at the end of every night that we shot, everybody brought me their cards from the cameras, and I made sure that I put them in their own folders, so I knew what camera or which files were from what camera. And then when we started the editing process, I dumped them into Adobe Premiere, and they have a really good multicam system, and I just set up the multicams with all nine cameras and the audio track. Like I said, the one from Thilo that was going through my camera that I was controlling. So I had that audio track with all those cameras, and I did a quick multicam of it to see if it works, just quickly through Adobe, and of course it never works right the first time.
Yeah,
so you have to go through.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah, you have to go through and line up every camera. But so we had 15 songs. Once you get all 15 songs lined up with the actual song, you lock them in place, and then you can go and you can just start your editing. But it takes, to get to that point, it took us like a good week to get all 15 songs to that point where we could actually start.
So it took you a week from like after the show, getting all the footage, dumping them, lining them up, making sure everything's like, all right, now I'm ready to edit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
man, that's a
Hey,
a long time.
Let me just say, me and Mark, we get very particular, and like we want to get that stuff perfect so we don't have to go back and fix things. And we, throughout our years of working together, we know that if that's not right at the beginning, it's going to cause a whole lot of problems at the end. So we spent extra time to make sure that happened.
Yeah.
So we had it right.
And you left out this part, Triv, but it's backing up, because I mean, how big is the whole project? It's probably what,
I just looked it up.
terabytes?
It's like 4.5 terabytes.
Which
The whole
is
project?
pretty big.
all
project.
cameras.
That's
Yeah.
pretty, that's pretty big.
And so
4
it's
terabytes
in
is
multiple.
huge.
Yeah, it's in multiple locations. So I had a copy, Triv had a copy, just so that you don't want anything to go bad. And then I remember like telling, because we had other shoots after this, and people were like, "Well, can I erase these cards?" And I was like, "No, you cannot erase these cards until we are delivered on this project. So like, you know, you're interviewing some like executive and you're scrolling through the footage and there's like performance, and then random, you know, tech CEO interview. But you know, I was like, no, we are keeping this stuff safe until, you know, this is delivered. And then obviously now it's still backed up too, but I'm super paranoid about footage loss.
Drives me crazy how paranoid he is about losing footage.
It's
And
not
I'm the
wrong with being
editor.
paranoid.
I'm the editor, and he drives me crazy.
Now, when it came down after a week, you got everything lined up and all that. How many hours a day did you spend? Like, okay, did you go through the whole set, or did you go, I'm going to work on one song and see how it goes here? I mean, what's the process of editing this whole thing?
This was a beast. So I didn't know how I want to start it. So what I did, like, I just had to get some edits in. My first thing is just listen to the song and like live edit. We had like you can live edit all the like I could see all 9 cameras and just click on them as I just play the song and just do a quick live edit. It's like a rough cut.
Yeah.
And I did that. I just went straight through all 15 songs and did that first. And then I started to fine tune and go into every song individually. But I would start with the first song, and then every time I would just go through all 15. It was weird. I never did one song over and over again. I don't know why, but I just kept on. Once I did one song and got through it, I would go to the next song, got through it, and then I would come back around and start the process over again, because I like to take breaks in between and edit so I can come back to it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
But that was the good way of doing it, was starting with song 1, going all the way through to song 15, and then usually the next day I'll start again with song 1 and go through it. So like for another week straight, I did that.
Yeah, when you got done with like the first draft, when you and Mark sent us the first draft to review, you have this system where it's so easy to edit. It's I'm gonna cuss. It's badass, dude. It's badass. I mean, you know, you could just say, oh, switch here, switch there. It was just so quick. I mean, I've worked on, you know, these free software, Filmora, or you know, where you gotta, it's the editing is hard. It's like iMovie edit type deal, but you guys just bloop, 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 done, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, it's all about the setup at the beginning. Like I said, once you have that locked in, everything goes smoothly after that. But it's getting to that point, which is the hardest part.
Yeah, it takes a while to set it all up, but it's and I mean, I think, you know, Triv and I talked about it before he started editing about because, you know, the experience we wanted was definitely like, you're there at the show, but you also wanted, because we had the ability that we weren't editing this live, you know, directly, that like we can put some more effort into the editing. And so like, let's make it a little music video-y, you know, let's like kind of do some fast cuts here. There's a lot of concert videos, I would assume a lot of the time people don't even know, you know, it's like if you're playing at a festival or something, the people that are filming, they don't necessarily know the band they're listening to, and they don't know when beats are coming up and solos and stuff like that. So someone's just kind of like, oh, they're just solo. All right, cut to that camera. Okay, cut to that camera. And, you know, this really gave us the ability to like edit to the music, which I thought was, you know, a nice feature of it being pre-recorded that you wouldn't have had if it was a true live stream. You know, I mean, you can to a certain extent, but I think it just would have been impossible to have it be that intricate with the editing if it was actually live.
And not only that,
on the beats and everything else, you know. So
even I'm talking about also rewinding back a little bit, what you captured. I mean, you made us look awesome in the Great American. Great American looks like a prestige, you know, like a mini Royal Albert Hall type deal. You know, the way you guys with the lighting and all that, you captured it, and how it sounds. It seems like, man, we're playing in like badass place here. You know what I mean? Everything in general is like, we could have had the option to go somewhere else, but we just thought it's everything about what we did was perfect, I think. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But the editing, let's get back to the editing, man. Woo, dude. What now? It took you about what? Now after 1 week of setting up, how it took you about another week to get it to where it was for us to check out, right?
Yeah, well, we had like 3 weeks from when we finished shooting to when it was going to be delivered, I believe. So yeah, we did the 1 week of set it all up, another week of rough cutting and like just talking with Mark, like, how do we want to do this song? How do we want to do this song? And then another week after that of fine tuning it. We showed it to you guys after the second week, and then the third week we did, you know, all your changes and all what we wanted to do with everything. We took care of that. But then it was actually the 3 weeks I thought was a perfect time. Like it wasn't too stressful and it wasn't really long.
It was pretty stressful.
Well, for you, because you're producing them. I don't care.
Tilo, did you find it stressful?
A little bit. I had to keep reminding everybody of the timeline, band members, Rob. Guys, we're supposed to deliver this in 3 days. Please, let's move on. Let's get this done. It was a little bit stressful, but it was fine. The 3 weeks time window that we had was perfect. It was good. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to come back about the venue, the Great American Music Hall. It just seemed like such a natural, perfect choice to do it there, didn't it?
Exactly. I like getting back to that, Tilo. We've talked about other locations, but when you brought up Great American, it was
it was just a natural idea, because how we always used to do the Christmas show at Slim's. We played Slim's a lot of times. I don't think we've played the music hall live with Death Angel.
Nope.
A lot of people know that the music hall and Slim's are run by the same people, owned and run by the same crew. I work there. I'm an employee there, or have been, anyways. In the case of Slim's, since a long time. I think I started working there like '99 or something like that at both of these places, and it was just such a natural choice to try to do it, keep it in the family, so to say. I suggested it to you, and I got in a hold of Dave Bruno, the general manager down there at the music hall. And I asked him if that was even a possibility, if they're even into doing that. And a couple Zoom calls later, we had the date set, and it was great.
Yeah, and not only that, like I said earlier on the stream, like, me and Tilo have talked to a couple of people who'd want to, film it and all that. But for some reason, Markheim, we just felt like you guys were the one, and I'm glad we went with you guys.
Well, that is us too, but that is definitely thanks to Dave. He had actually brought up the project to me before you even reached out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this.
He was like, hey, because we had done a live stream there, I think probably about a week before you had reached out, and he was like, I'm trying to do my best Dave impression. He's like, Death Angel's coming, and I was like, okay. I was like, was there a question in that, or And he's like, he's like, you guys should do that, and I was like, okay, but he's like, so I'll put you in contact. So I guess he probably gave you my contact info, and then but yeah, no, I love working with Dave, and I don't know what it is, but we just have a great it's like we're old friends, even though we've really only been really working together for like a year, a lot. But I think he knows. I think film crews can come in and they can be like a bull in a china shop and just like take over everything and destroy everything and break stuff, and it's just, there's like no remorse. And I think he was like, you guys are cool. You like the venue, you respect the venue. And I'm like, yeah, man, I love this venue. So I think he, anytime, there's something that wants to be shot there, he's like, can you guys do it? So I was super stoked that, you guys were doing it there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you did a good job. You got married into Great American Music Hall. And you must love the venue so much if you got married in there.
I do.
Yeah.
It is one of my, favorite venue. I think it's the most beautiful venue in the city, at least. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
It is.
I love the Independent, but the Independent ain't much to look at.
So. Yeah, I mean, like Thilo was saying earlier, Slim's is where we had our Christmas shows. We went 7 years in a row Christmas shows at Slim's, and Great American is like the sister club. But now that Slim's gone, Great American's the only sibling. So hopefully, if we ever do a actual live Christmas show, I'd like to do it there. It just, like you said, Tilo, it just feels natural and it feels right. It feels like it's like going to another venue, but you're still kind of feeling like you're at Slim's, but it's just different. It doesn't. It's not like a shock.
Totally.
So, but any funny moments or fuck ups behind the scenes that you would like to share? Because I have a couple. At least one I could share. So come on, guys.
We had a big one actually the day that besides the one I mentioned about the camera, crapping out right at the beginning of recording. when we got Thilo's final songs, Triv calls me and he goes, I think this is a different song. And like, so for some reason there was
different version.
Yeah, there was a different like take essentially. And so I think like I think there was a mix up when like we called take 2 something and it was actually like take 3. And so we were like, okay. And Trev's like, I'm just gonna see if it lines up. And it didn't. So we were like, okay, let's re-edit that song real quick. And that was like I think 2 days or 3 days before the stream, you know, and so that was a quick redo. But
yeah, but the good news was I had already edited it, so I knew the song, so I knew where the edit points were, and the footage was a little bit better on that take than it was the one that
it was a pleasant mistake.
Yeah. How about you, Austin? Any funny moments, mess ups, or whatnot? Something we could talk about? Let the fans know what's going on.
No, I mean, I think every there's always. I mean, I'm my worst critic, so I think I mess up all the time. But like,
we all do.
No one notices because no one's watching the lights but me. So nothing out of the ordinary for any funny moments or anything. No, just a normal show.
One of my funny moments that I thought was funny, I could look at it now as being funny, but at the time I was like frustrated, and it's about one of my band members, and I'm going to mention it, and I'm sure all you guys noticed it. We're in the middle of performance, and if you know the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, street parking, you got to pay a meter. You got to go out every time, feed the meter with the quarters. Like I remember right in the middle of performance, I got to go feed my meter. I won't say who it was. But I was like, oh, dude, that's hence why you park in the parking garage, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do the meter because you'll get a ticket and you'll forget all about it. That's one of my funny moments right there. So
and the meter probably costs as much as the parking garage in the long run anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
and I enjoyed before the last day negotiating with Rob if 1 p.m. was too early to start for him, and that was a big negotiation on hey, can we start at 1 p.m. and it was like I don't know, and that was a bit, and then even once we got to that negotiation, it was still about 2:30 before everyone was there and we were able to actually start. Ted, you were there at like 12, so you are the most punctual guy I know. But
thanks. I try to be. You could ask Austin and Thilo. I try to be as punctual. I mean, if you tell me my whole thing is, if 5 minutes early, you're on time. You're on time. You're late. 5 minutes late, you're fired. I mean, that's just kind of like my mentality.
Ted's usually the first person in a venue when we're on tour. I feel like he's up before me, already in discussing to the house people what's going where. And yeah,
I'm just that guy. You know what I mean?
Ted, you're like the liaison between the band and the crew. That's how I see you. You're the only guy that can think on a technical level, show production wise.
Yeah.
A lot of the other guys are a little bit oblivious as to like how things go and why there might be a problem and why this is hard to pull off. Where you are the one, you actually think like a tech. You think like a technician.
Thank you. I used to be a tech.
Yes, I know, and that helps tremendously, and I really, really appreciate you for that.
Oh, thank you.
You're like my go-to person when I have a technical problem or when there's an issue.
Yeah.
I don't even talk to the other guys. I come straight to you. I explain it to you. I know you will understand it, and I know you will relay it in the best possible way to the other guys. So,
thanks, man. I mean, there's got to be one person like that. I mean, everyone has their role in the band. I mean, Rob's the main songwriter, Mark's the songwriter too, and they write good stuff. They do the set list, and it's awesome. I mean, Will and Damien have their thing. We all are a team, but I'm just, for lack of a better term, when it comes to all that technical stuff, I'm a nerd. I love it,
Yes.
Like I like looking at your guys' cameras, walking in there. What is this? How does this work? Whoa, look at that jib. Look at that widescreen. I just like gear. That's just me,
Totally.
So I get into it, and I like to arrive early, make sure everything's ready. But the downfall is I'm ready and no one else is. I'm like,
That
all
was
right.
yep. The day before we started, I was meeting with the team, and I said, all right, I think everything's in place. We have all the equipment we need. We've gone over the schedule and everything. And then I go, the one thing I haven't accounted for is what I called the Rockstar Element. And and it was the I can't control that, and so I
Yeah.
can plan everything I can do, and we can have all the dotted I's and crossed T's, but I can't control the Rockstar Element. And to be fair, there was very, very few, if any, moments where that came to light. But I think overall, everyone was super professional about everything, so it worked out.
Awesome. Now, I want to ask each of you, what was your famous performance and or song of the set?
Mhm.
That where you go, oh man, that's my jam.
Or Volcanic. Because I asked Rob, on tour, I was like, will you ever play this song live? And he's like, no. And I'm like, even for my birthday, if we're doing a show? And he's like, no. And then whenever I seen that in the email that was on the set list, I was like, yes. I recorded the whole set on my phone while Mark and all them were recording it with their cameras, because I was like, I got to watch it over and over and over.
Nice. How about you, Thilo? What was your favorite song performance? You've seen us many times. Come on, man.
I
Be real.
I have to say I really like the organization. That song. Obviously I knew the song. I don't think I've ever seen you guys perform it live. At least not that I can recall. Have you done it?
Yeah, we've done it. We've done it. I could tell you we've done it 3 times. We did it once. 2 times was with Gus Peppa at the Fat Cats in Modesto and at Slim's. And we played it once at the Boardwalk in Sacramento. Orangeville, excuse me. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Very long time ago. Long time ago.
But yeah, that was my favorite song. I really, really like that song. All the changes.
It's a good song.
Everything. Yeah, it's a great song. Funny enough, that's the one that I decided to start my mix with as well.
Oh,
when
really?
I came home, I scanned through all the songs, made sure that everything recorded properly and everything was good. And I was like, all right, let's start mixing this thing. And I went to the I started mixing with that song, and that was my favorite one out of this set for sure.
Yeah, that's a rocking tune. I like that one too. I hope it stays in the live headlining set, going forward, or swap it out here and there. How about you, Triv?
I would say my favorite was Absence of Light.
Ah, that's Trisha's favorite too. That was her favorite.
Well, it was like when I started editing, and that was one of the songs you picked from day 2 recordings.
Yeah.
And our camera work was much better because we'd gone through it a couple times at that point, and it just cut together like that. It was the first one I had done. It was like couple runs on it, and that's all we needed, and then a little touch up here and there. But it came out great. And then as I started watching all the ones, that one just kept on popping because the cut was really nice at that point. The song was furious and great, and then it just melded together real quick. And I was like, oh, the song. I just kept on watching it. Because I had it, I'm like, this is done already. I'm like, Mark, this is done. We're good. And he's like, whoa.
that was the first one where I was like, okay, yeah, that looks great. All right, moving on.
Mark, what was your favorite?
I did like Absence of Light a lot. I really, for performance wise, I really liked Alive and Screaming, because that chorus is so hooky. Like I can't get it. It's great. But I think kind of from this production, I would take away Lord of Hate. Just because I love the way the interview led into the song to start.
Yeah, I'll get to that because
but I loved because we were trying to find chairs, and there's a little the simple thing is the 2 chairs that people were sitting in for interviews. All they had at the music hall was stools, and so I was like, this doesn't really make stools, and so I kept calling like places for furniture and being like, do you have anything that says Lord of Hate? And they were like. And so we found, and that just became this like inside joke of like, oh, these are the Lord of Hate chairs.
So, well, good to know. Good to know. It's funny because I want to get to that. Like you said, the interviews leading up to Lord of Hate. There was a winner that won the acoustic guitar that that I played the whole band signed, and I wanted to do something special. So I actually called the dude and said, "Hey, man, this is Ted from Death Angel. You won the guitar, blah blah blah." And he was like excited. And I asked him, "What was your favorite song or moment of the show?" He says, "The interviews and leading up to Lord of Hate. It was emotional." So
Yeah.
there you go. I
Yeah,
thought
I
that was
loved it.
great too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that. And there was, and I forget the song, Triv, you probably remember, where it's like right, I just want to say it's like the fourth or fifth song where Mark's like, we like really hooky choruses, and then the drums come in right as the I forget what
Fallen.
the name. Yes.
Fallen.
Yeah, I just love the way that one lined up too. But yeah, I just loved Mark's story with it, and then it just kind of, it was just a nice beat going right into the song that I loved. So.
Oh,
was,
well, I
yeah.
forgot to give a couple of shout outs here for, Stefan Shirazi, who interviewed us. What a cool guy. And he was able to pull out some good stuff from us. You know what I mean? And
Totally.
And also, I got to give a shout out to, and that what really helped Thilo with the sound is Eric Larson and DW Fern and everyone at Hazel Rig Industries for lending us the great gear that helped make us sound awesome, along with Thilo's work with Rob. So, gentlemen, we're coming to a close on my stream here. But before I do, let me let everyone know that Alive and Streaming is also streaming on our website, www.deathangel.us. The show, the Bastard Track Show, is up for another week. So you can go check it out. If you go to our website, deathangel.us, the info is there. And if all the fans who've watched it send us a review or post a review, a video of what they thought with the hashtag Death Angel Deep Cuts, they'll get a chance to win $100 gift card in the Death Angel store. So let's do that. Now, guys, before I end my stream, and I have to ask, it's called the Dirty Dozen. So I ask a question to each of you, and you got to answer it. You guys ready?
No.
All right, here we go. Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
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 Mild.
Of course, Austin's mild. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Dogs.
Okay. I'm gonna do this. Dogs or cats? Markheim.
Cats.
Triv.
Dogs.
Thilo.
Dogs.
Austin.
Cats.
Okay. A movie you could watch over and over again. Markheim.
Train spotting.
Train Spotting. Triv.
Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1.
Okay. Thilo.
The Martian. I love that movie.
All right. Austin Zangi.
I don't know. It's too on the spot for me.
Answer it. Come on, man. That's what the Dirty Dozen's about. These guys can answer it. Come on. Don't show your age.
The Dark Knight. There you go.
Okay, there you go. Okay. Biggest pet peeve, Markheim.
Ooh, over cockiness.
Okay, Triv.
Not using your blinker.
Yeah.
Not using your blinker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new one. I like that one. How about you, Thilo?
Wow. People being late.
Thank you. That's mine too. Tardiness. Thank you.
Yes.
Austin.
I hate it when there's like a bag of chips for everyone to eat out of and people lick their fingers and stick it back in the bag.
Oh, wow. That is a good one too. I've seen that.
Which is why I have my own bags of chips in my bunk on tour.
Okay. All right. I'll agree with you. Now, guys, what time does your alarm go off every morning, Markheim?
Ooh, well, I had a baby 3 months ago, so I don't have an alarm anymore. I get up at like 6 when the baby wakes up. So, but it used to be like 10 a.m.
Oh, okay. Triv.
I don't use an alarm, but my eyes pop open around 8 a.m.
Okay. I want to know what time Thilo gets up here.
I don't have an alarm.
Okay.
I do have I do set my phone sometimes when there's anything I need to do, say before noon.
Before noon.
If there's anything I need to do, if I need to get up and be ready for something before noon, I will set an alarm. Yes.
Okay. How about you, Zangi?
6:30.
6:30. Good one. All right. Come on. My eyes open up at 6:30, but I don't really roll out of bed till like 7:38. So, okay. What a song you love to sing when you're all alone? Markheim.
Oh gosh. It's probably not the right crowd for this, but I am a fan of classical musicals.
Classical. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
I like when there's no one around, I like singing musicals, like something from Les Mis.
Okay, that's good. Hey, man, everyone has their trip. How about you, Triv?
That's I don't like. It's usually whenever I'm editing at that point. And
Okay.
so right now I have Alive and Screaming constantly going through my head.
Oh, okay.
Can't get it out of my head. It's just,
Right on, dude. Right on. Thilo.
I don't sing, not
Well,
even when I'm all by myself.
when you're all by yourself, I know you're singing in your head. There's
In
a
my
song. There's a song going.
Yeah, I kind of have to what Triv said. Whatever I'm working on,
Okay.
kind of is usually in my head
At that moment. Okay. How about you,
Yeah.
Austin?
There's not one in particular. I just have my same playlist that plays, and that's all of the songs. I can't pick one.
Come on. You just pick one, dude. All these guys pick one. What's going on, dude?
Okay.
You're not being fair.
Ready?
Not being
ready for
fun.
this? You ready for this?
Yes.
The Seether song.
Okay, that's fine.
Remedy.
All right. Right now, my favorite song to sing to right now, this moment, as of yesterday, is Bon Jovi's "It's My Life." So we'll move on from there. It's a great song. All right, man. Your dream vacation.
Ooh. I haven't been to Japan. I really want to go to Japan badly.
Japan's awesome.
That was mine. God, yeah.
But you can have to. It's okay, Triv.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah,
you agree, Triv?
And I've never been there, and I wanted to go there for 10 years.
You guys should go. It's awesome.
Yeah,
How about Thilo? I know you have a dream vacation.
Yeah, it's when you like South Sea, when you see those huts over the water that are like hotel rooms.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna afford myself to stay at one of those for a few weeks.
Me and Trisha stayed at one in the Philippines, in the same spot, but we didn't get the hut. But it was awesome, dude. It's like, oh, dude, you don't want to leave.
I'm a sucker for beaches.
I did that in Fiji. I was going to say Fiji, but I went to Fiji and stayed in one of those huts above the water, and it was pretty awesome.
Nice.
Zangi.
One of these days.
Back to Switzerland, but like on vacation and not on tour, so I can just have a couple days.
Okay, Switzerland's good. All right, what's one thing about you that probably annoys others?
Ooh, I can be. Oh gosh, I don't know. Triv could probably answer that question better than I can, but I don't know. I can be pretty anal sometimes and stand over your shoulder and bug the hell out of you.
Yes, you
but
can.
Most people probably know that.
All right, how about you, Triv?
Most annoying thing about me is I don't give a crap about a lot of things.
Oh, well, hey, man, that's pretty good. I like that one. I want to know what Thilo's thing is.
I don't know. You probably know better than I do, having spent so much time in tight quarters. But
I do, but I don't want to say.
Sometimes I'm. What's the word? I'm overly worried about things. Sometimes people think I'm a negative person, which I'm not. I just go through worst case scenarios in my head, and then I try to prevent them by talking about them. And I think that turns some people off, and they're thinking I'm a Debbie Downer kind of person, which I'm really not.
Well, you said it. I didn't. But I could see that. I know you so well. But yeah, it's just I know what you're trying to get at. It's just how you go about it sometimes. I totally get it. Zangi.
I would say probably that I don't think before I speak.
Yes.
I ask and say a bunch of stupid things.
Yeah, but it's okay. We all have our thing. I think I'll tell you. I annoy my bandmates and maybe sometimes you guys when I have too much coffee. I could especially on tour when I get up and I have a coffee and they're just waking up. I'm all but they're like, dude.
When you like
get away.
We're in the venue for like maybe 10 minutes and I'm programming. You're like, let me see what you got for that song. I'm like, Ted, I'm flashing lights and.
Yeah, like I get annoyed the crew guys because sometimes I'm on stage and they're setting up and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, "I'm just making sure things are going right." So yeah, I could annoy people that way. All right, the next one. What is your favorite smell, Mark?
Ooh, I like and maybe it's Thilo's Christmas tree that inspired me, but I think Christmas trees smell delicious.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. How about you, Triv?
I come from an Italian family, so the smell of garlic in the house is just wonderful.
That's a new one I've heard, but yeah, I could see that too. Thilo, I know you have a favorite smell.
I man, him talking about food. I love food. I love smelling food. I love eating food. But other than food, I have like those wax cubes
Oh,
that I use in my apartment, and I usually pick like some citrusy stuff, like the
oh,
lemon or orangey kind of citrusy smells. Yeah,
oh.
I like
I,
What
those.
I
about that soap you got in Albuquerque?
Oh yeah. Oh my
no,
God.
no, no. That
That's
was
awesome.
it. Albuquerque. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Albuquerque. That I keep ordering from that same lady. What was it? Something with thyme, raspberry thyme or something like that. This is the best smelling hand soap ever.
Yeah, it was funny because, and I've been on tour with Tila so many times. We always go out and about to get something to eat, to get coffee, or maybe pick up some smokes or something like that. But it was really a trip when I went out with Tila and goes, "I'm gonna pick up some hand soap." I'm like, what? I don't know, like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy some hand soap. All right, uh, Zangi, what's did I get to you? What's your favorite smell?
No, okay. So um probably like anything Hawaiian like a room scent, like Glade Hawaiian Breeze or something like that.
Okay.
But with hand soap now recently, because I normally don't care, but Myers mum scent. I'm in love with it.
Oh, I'm gonna
But
have
it's
to
like a
look that up.
seasonal scent, so it's hard to get.
Okay, guys, an instrument you wish you could play, Mark Heim.
Saxophone.
Saxophone. Wow, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Triv.
Drums.
Oh, I wish I could play drums too. Tilo's a drummer.
I did know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to be.
Yeah, he still is. He still is. How about you, Tilo? What's an instrument you wish you could play?
Hands down, piano. I think it's
Wow.
the most expressive, musical, beautiful instrument ever.
I could see that. It sounds really nice and beautiful and nice to the ears,
Yeah.
Austin, Zange.
The bass guitar,
Oh yeah, dude, you've become a good bass player, I've seen, man.
a
Hang
little
in
bit,
there.
but I want to slap and pluck. I can't do that yet.
All right. Okay, here's a fun question. On a scale of 1 to 5, how good of a dancer are you?
How good of an answer am I actually versus how good of an answer do I think I am? I think I'm a 5, but I'm probably like a 2, 1.5 at best.
I'm gonna believe 5, Markheim. I'm gonna believe 5. Triv, you look like Dancing with the Stars. Look at you.
Well, I probably portray a 1, but I'm probably a 0.
Come on,
Triv's
man.
pretty bad.
You even said
no rhythm.
you have an Italian background. You have some
I can do
dancing,
the
man.
oppas and all that stuff, but that's easy.
Tilo, dude, Tilo's
I
got some moves. He's got some
no,
moves, bro.
I am a negative 5.
Negative.
I can bob my head in time. That's about the extent of dancing I do.
Austin,
I would say probably an awkward 2.
awkward too. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, I believe that. All right, guys, thank you for joining my stream. I really appreciate it. I really wanted to talk to you guys and let the fans know what went on to get the show. I mean, the show was awesome, man. It was awesome, and you guys made it happen. Everyone I mentioned earlier made it. Had a big part to do with it, and I want to also give a shout out to Rob, Mark, Will, and Damon. They kicked ass. Going up there. We all kicked ass. I think we were all on it, and it was a lot of hours, a lot of work behind the scenes, but I think it was the end product was great, and the fans really enjoyed it. So, and we're getting comments here saying we should release it on DVD, Blu-ray, or something like that. But that's something we could talk about hopefully down the road. And Triv mentioned you know how to make Blu-rays. You could get
I
it in the
have,
Blu-ray.
yeah, we can get all that going.
Yeah. So I mean, and also one more before we leave, and it involves maximum flavor here. We've gotten a lot of messages of our Christmas shows, because a lot of you, Tilo's worked all 7 of them, and Austin's worked like quite a few, we get messages from around the world. People go, we can't make it to your Christmas show because people, it's a big thing. It's hard to get to San Francisco. It's during the holidays, but it's always been a success. They asked, can you stream it live? Like that's something that's possible for you guys to do. Like when we're actually playing a Christmas show, a real live show, it's actually, you guys could stream it, right? It's possible.
Yeah. It wouldn't be as involved as what we just did, but yeah, it is certainly a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, people around the world want to see it, and I think you guys are the ones that could bring it to life.
We could bring it to life.
All right, man. Guys, again, thank you to I forgot to give a shout out. Thank you to all who watched the Bastard Track Show. Guys, these are Mark Heim and Triv from Maximum Flavor, Thilo Fehlinger, our soundman extraordinaire, Austin Zangi, the lighting director, who made it all happen, and everyone else behind the scenes. Thank you for joining on the live and streaming. You could watch a live and streaming on our YouTube, Facebook, and website. Gentlemen, stick around when I end this. Let's have a little chit chat, and everyone else out there, have a good Saturday, and let's be safe and be kind to others. All right, here we go.